Interesting, it's not showing the camera. Okay, hi everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started, even though our camera is not working or it's not connecting, but you can hear us, and that's all it's all about. It's about hearing the message, not really seeing me sitting here at the office talking to you. So with that, we'll get started. My name is Veronica Hess, and I am an energetic mindset coach. So what that means is I incorporate metaphysical energies into helping my clients create the realities that they most desire consciously, because now it's actually proven by science that you become what you think about. However, most of the time we are not conscious or aware of what stories we're telling ourselves and how we're manifesting unconsciously what we don't desire. So through doing multiple case studies prior to launching my business, I was trying to see what's going to happen when you pair energy work together with simple tools that are intended to shift your thinking patterns. And what I discovered is that what used to seem like impossible, all of a sudden it seems like it's possible. And then the willingness to take the necessary action in order to achieve that, all of a sudden come to you with more ease. So that's what I do. And about a year ago, I started this group called Women's Community of Conscious Creators. And I created it really for two reasons. First one was to get the word out about the work that I do. Since I wanted to see if it's possible to now, this day and age, create a business without big marketing campaigns and all of that, and just through word of mouth. And at the time, I didn't even connect the dots that working with energy, that are the right people going to be also attracted to the community and to the group, and is my, as they call it, is my tribe gonna find me because I'm putting it out there. And the second reason that I've really created this group is to pay it forward with giving and sharing the information that I know can be life-changing. So pretty much anybody that's willing to listen. And up until today, we've only shared this group live in Huntington Beach and in Tustin, California. And now we are, for the first time, expanding it out. And I'm stepping out of my own comfort zone and going virtual via Google Hangout. So I welcome everybody that's online listening to us. And of course, I welcome our conscious creators here in the room. So today's topic is, what does it mean to follow your bliss? So first of all, what is bliss? Bliss as divine. Oh, and also for the girls here in the room, I have notepads and pens. And for our audience on Google Hangout, please, if you have a notebook and a pen handy, grab it. Because sometimes when you hear something that may be a golden nugget that feels light to you, that may be easy for you to implement, and you think, oh, this is great, I'm going to implement it right away, and you don't write it down, guess what? Don't rely on your memory, because it may be gone within the next few seconds. But if you write it down, then it's going to be there forever. So yeah. Hopefully they give you enough time to go grab pen and paper, and we'll get started. So the definition of bliss is perfect happiness, supreme happiness, and great joy. It's that feeling that we feel where nothing else matters, and we're just so consumed within that we almost like zone out, and we are so in the moment and so connected with that feeling and sensation. But how do we really discover our bliss? It may seem like, oh, it's so easy because it's something that makes us feel so good and alive and all of that. But we are programmed many times to dismiss feeling good and dismiss feeling what feels light to us. Because what happens is our subconscious mind, which is at one point, it's so powerful and so advanced, but on the other side of the spectrum, it's very primitive, and it doesn't like it when we change things. It doesn't like it when we grow. It doesn't like when we go and experience new things, simply because it views it as fear. It instills fear in us because it thinks that it's dangerous. Since it does not recognize what's real and what's not, it's that fight or flight reflex, meaning if we hear of something that's different and it's going to connect us to that bliss, which in turn is going to change us, because in a good way, that subconscious mind sees it as a threat and it wants us to stay the same in that comfort zone. That's why many times people don't know what their bliss is, what really truly brings them happiness. But once we bring this subject up to life and really connect with it and allow to receive the connection to our own knowing of what that bliss is, then we will be able to receive it and know it with much faster time and speed and with much more ease. So how do we really discover it? Bliss is something that really resonates deep within you. It's something that you've known and that you've, I don't want to say strive because strive is not the right word. It's something that comes to you with ease. It's something that when you do it, it makes you feel light. It makes you feel happy. That's all that you acknowledge, and that's all that you're in, and you're able to fully, truly experience it. And we've all been able to experience that because that bliss, whatever our purpose and knowing is, has been there with us since the beginning. But we, over time, deny ourselves that, and we make ourselves believe that we don't know. And a lot of times also through society, we've been taught that in order for us to achieve something, we have to work hard and strive. It shouldn't come to us with ease. And I know for me personally, when I was in school, my passion has always been human behavior, and it's always been helping people make changes in their lives through their thinking, through their actions, and through their behaviors. However, at the time when I was in school, I was told that in order for me to do that, I would really have to have a PhD in psychology or psychiatry. So I almost in a way denied myself going that way, and I chose to go into business, which is almost like an opposite end of the spectrum. And over time I had to go through that and experience that life, which was not really in harmony and congruence with my bliss, with my purpose. But once I did that and I started to wake up to what my purpose is, and through incorporating actually metaphysical energy work into my life, I realized that, you know what, no, actually I can create and do what I'm meant to do here. And once I shifted out of that mindset of making myself believe that I can't into the reality that I can, and I can start creating, all these different doors and opportunities and people started to show up, which allowed me to really create what I thought before would be impossible. So if you don't know what your bliss is, through laws of attraction, you can call forth the answer and the tapping into your knowing of what it really is. Because now it is proven by science that you become what you think about. It's a little bit more though than you thinking about something and then receiving it. It's really about putting out that thought in a way that's formulated, that's going to give you the results that you're looking to get. So for example, many times what people do is they dwell on the house. They don't know how I'm going to achieve this, how I'm going to accomplish it, how will I get there? And they just keep stuck in the house, and they keep putting out very low vibrational questions of, gosh, I'm always having such a hard time with these opposite end of the spectrum questions because I don't use them anymore. So for example, if you don't know what your bliss is, instead of saying, why don't I know? Like, why am I so stupid? Why don't I know? Those are very low vibrational questions to which you're going to either get a very low vibrational, you're going to get an answer. It's going to be a very low vibrational answer, which is going to bring forth more confusion. But if we shift it around and we ask it, for example, what would it take for me to discover and follow my bliss with effortless ease today? I'll repeat that. What would it take for me to discover and follow my bliss with effortless ease today? So I'll dissect that question a little bit. When you're asking the question in such manner, you're putting it out there that you're ready to discover what your bliss is, and also you're calling forth experiences and things that are going to make it effortless. A lot of times, if we don't add effortless ease or with grace or something that's really kind and nurturing at the end of these questions, you will get an answer, and sometimes it may not be very graceful. That's why I always attach those two words at the end of all those questions, simply because through my own experiences and in the beginning asking different questions and putting out what I want without at the end consciously attaching effortless ease or grace or happy, whatever, I would get I would get the answer and I would get what I was asking for, but it was a lot of times not graceful and quite harsh. So sometimes what may happen is if we're asking for a question to find out what our bliss is and not attach that softener at the end, you may discover it by maybe somebody close dying to you, or you getting hurt, or you getting an illness, and we don't want that. That's why we always want to put that softener at the end. And when you're saying that you demand it today, that you're putting it out there, that you're ready to know now. And of course, sometimes people ask me, how many times should I ask this question? Well, laws of attraction say that you become what you think about, and what that means is that the dominant thought wins the game. So whatever it is that you focus on the most is what you're going to get. So if you're really truly ready to discover what that bliss for you is, the more of this question that you keep repeating in your mind, the better, because then you're calling, you're letting the universe know, or whatever you want to call it. I call it the universe. You can call whatever you want. You put it out there that I'm serious, this is what I want. And putting out questions and then also stating affirmations or statements in the affirmative that are confirming that, yes, this is what I'm demanding. So for example, I am open and willing to always follow my bliss. I'm open and willing to always follow my bliss. And only because we're open to following our bliss, it doesn't mean that things are always going to be rosy and that it's always going to feel like wonderful butterflies. The way that we distinguish whether or not certain actions, certain events, people, or things are going to get us connected closer to that feeling of our own bliss is to get connected with our bodies. Get connected with our bodies, because our bodies always tell us what is right for us and what is wrong for us. We've all had that sensation of the gut feeling, or that instinct that tells us like, oh yes, that's a good thing, I should go do it. And sometimes there's no explanation for it. And our minds are going to automatically start to doubt it. So as soon as you say yes to something that feels light, your mind will try to steer you away from it. Oh, maybe that's not a good idea. Oh, you've made a mistake. Oh, that was stupid. Whatever it is, acknowledge that it's there and know that it's normal. But the key is to act despite of that voice, despite of that fear, because the fear that your mind is creating is completely false. There is no solidity behind it. Unless, of course, it's something it's super dangerous, or you're getting in a cage with a lion or something like that, then the fear is real. But other than that, Kathleen, if I may use you as an example, you will be going on this trip and you're in a way stepping into the unknown, but you followed what felt right for you despite of probably what your mind was trying to tell you. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like follow that bliss despite of what stories that mind is going to start creating, because it's going to start creating stories, quite wild ones, but we have to realize that if it feels light to us, then it's right for us. And we also have to be in allowance of receiving the correct communication, because at times we have to recognize, is the lightness feeling within our body or the heaviness feeling? If you're feeling heavy, if something feels yucky, tune into yourself and recognize, is it your mind that's telling you stories, that's trying to tell you maybe don't do it, give up, go the other way, go back to where you were? Or is it your body telling you like, this is not right, go the other way? So the more you keep practicing it, the more it's going to become easier for you to tune into it and follow it and take that action. And once you take that action and you get the result of whatever it may be, but once you take that action, despite of the fear, normally what happens once you do it, you realize that that fear was completely made up. Nothing bad happened. You most likely benefited from it, and you were glad that you were there. You were glad that you met up with the person, or that you did whatever it is that you did. Be sure to recognize that moment and congratulate yourself. Give gratitude to yourself for following that instinct and following that knowing and experience that bliss. There's that moment where you experience that bliss and you're in it. But what happens is your mind turns on right in that moment. And it's like, I knew this is not going to be a big deal. See, you were scared for nothing. And right away it starts to create another story. Don't allow it to sneak in. What I would suggest, just when you sense that voice coming in and trying to dismiss as to what you've just achieved, even though it may seem like it's not a big deal. Maybe you just went to something that your best friend invited you, but you were fighting in your head whether or not you should go. You went, you're glad you did, you connect to that blissful feeling, your mind starts to turn on, be like, we're not going there. And be in gratitude. Because when we take action and we experience that bliss, that's when it's of utmost importance to acknowledge it, give gratitude for it, and then ask for more. Because there's nothing wrong with asking for more. We've been taught all our lives, don't be selfish, leave some for others, don't keep asking for more. No, ask for more. Always ask for more, because there is an abundance of whatever it is that you are receiving. Keep asking, because if you don't ask, then you're stopping the flow. And if you ask for more, the more will keep showing up as though out of nowhere. And the great way to do that is this. It's super easy. You just say, thank you, bring me more. So when you by saying thank you, you're acknowledging that it's happening, and at the same time you're giving gratitude. And then bring me more, you're asking for more of that to show up. And it's again just a matter of recognizing it and keep repeating it and doing it over and over and over again. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to keep slipping up, and that voice is going to turn on, and you're probably not going to follow the instinct. And then later you're like, God damn it, I should have listened. Why didn't I do that? Don't beat yourself up over it. Again, acknowledge it and be like, that's okay. Next time, once I tune into it, I'm going to do better. And do your best. The kids, don't keep reliving or beating yourself up over something that you did or didn't do that wasn't right, and you didn't achieve the outcome you wanted. You're not doing yourself any favors by beating yourself up for whatever it is that you feel like you've failed at, or you didn't follow your instinct or your intuition and you feel like you should have been there but you didn't. Just give yourself a break. And if you're having a hard time with disconnecting from those negative feelings, remember to breathe. Just take a deep breath And when you exhale, just envision that you're releasing whatever crap it is that you just picked up and whatever you're beating yourself up over, because it's going to be okay. Yeah. So with that, we're going to go around the room and introduce ourselves and share who you are, where you're from, and if you have experienced moments like that where you know that you're in tune and on track with what your bliss is, or have you experienced before in your life where you were not congruent with following what's right for you, but instead you did something else that you felt like it was expected of you, either expectation that it's always an expectation that we place on ourselves, but we make ourselves believe that the society placed that expectation on us, our parents, our spouses, our kids, or whatnot. And did you have a moment of realization that I am not congruent, not following my bliss, and what happened? Did you follow it, and what was the result? Or maybe is there a situation now where you feel like you're so close to discovering it, but you're not sure how to get there? Let us know, and through discussion, perhaps we can help you out. So whoever would like to go first.
I'll go first.
Awesome.
I'm Heather Vaughn. I am a chiropractor. I am from Southern California. Hello, people on the interwebs.
Yeah.
And
They can see us. They can hear us. Yes.
Okay. I'm a chiropractor, and I had the fun adventure of discovering myself better, and I put on myself the expectations of I'm out of college, I just finished med school, I just got my license, I have to make money now, I have all these student loans, I need to get a job, it needs to be a high paying job, it has to be this criteria and that criteria. And I got a job that did not resonate with me, and I was miserable, and it sucked, and it did not make me the magical amount of money that I had written on a piece of paper and said, this is the amount of money I need to succeed in life. And so I went and I got a new job that also did not resonate with me and did not get the magical money dollar amount that I set out to achieve. And so I ended up finally, after beating my head against the wall and letting myself be taken advantage of, people who would see me as this, very energetic butterfly that, had no direction, and they would just say, oh, come here, I will work you to the ground and not give you anything in return. It'll be great. I took some time off and stepped away a little bit and was kind of reclusey and kind of buried my head in the sand and didn't want to do anything. And recently I had a good friend who kind of grabbed my arm and was like, hey, you're an awesome person. There's a better life for you. And I was kind of like slap myself and say, okay, wake up. And let's figure out what I want and what makes me happy. And so it's been about 6 months of, it doesn't make me happy, get rid of it, and it's sometimes I run into people and they're like, what on earth are you doing? And it's like, I'm just getting rid of Vicky out of my life, but it's been I wouldn't say fun journey, but it's been very enlightening. So,
and that's what it's all about. So it's definitely sounding like you're open, and through having these questions, it will open you up to connecting you with what your purpose is, because you already have your gifts, but you made yourself believe that receiving money is gonna show up a certain way.
Yeah.
Again, possibilities are limitless. So you can also start asking other questions of, what would it take for me to make whatever that amount is and have fun at the same time? What would it take for me to heal people and make abundance of money? What would it take for me to continually have fun with my business and have a waiting list of clients waiting, or patients waiting to see me? When we get in the state of mind of receiving of what it is that we already know, and we just need to tap into it, because you made yourself believe that you don't know. And people, yeah, you're like, oh, I'm a butterfly, and I don't know. So yeah, I did the same. That was me as well, because I worked in the corporate world, and afterwards, I really didn't know. And people were like, oh, why don't you come here? And I'll be like, okay. And I would learn, I would support them, I would represent them, but then it wasn't still in alignment with me. Over time, the more and more you're open and willing to know what you already know, it's just going to start opening up. And yeah, it doesn't make sense to a lot of people. I get it, because that's been the story of my life since leaving the corporate world. It makes no sense to a lot of people, but it's okay, because the more I keep following what I know is right for me, despite of what other people may think is right for me, then it just opens up beautifully and it works out. So yeah, and it's not always fun, and it's not always pretty, and it is a journey. But the way I see it, like, if the more crap you go through in the beginning, and you keep moving forward despite of that, having that inner faith of knowing that every day you're getting closer to, like, have all the pieces connecting and clicking into place, the sooner you're gonna get there. Yeah, so that's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Gosh, where do I start? What we're supposed to focus on again, so that I'm not all over the place?
Yes, so your name, where you're from, and if you have experienced tapping into that bliss and taking action despite of that fear. If you'd like to share that with us, then that would be fantastic.
So my name is Kathleen. I live in Huntington Beach until this Saturday. And so my latest example of what you're talking about is pretty much like the first 20 years I've been here, I've had stability and work, stability in home. The last 5-6 years, it's been absolute opposite in work and home, like absolute opposite in both. So, I mean, I've taken jobs that were offered to me, like handed to me. I knew from the get-go they were not right for me. And they didn't turn out right for me. So, and this job, today is my last day in this job, but as I was sharing, a month ago, I found out that where I'm living, it's going to be sold, and my roommate is moving on, and so I could stay there. She told me, originally they work in Salem, now they are. Anyway, she said originally I could stay there, but my gut reaction was, thank you, but I just know in my heart and soul that this is the time, an opening, I'm calling it, to do something more than just looking for the next place to live or looking for the next same kind of work that I've known for the last several years. It is not light. It's not making me happy. It's, so right away, like 4 weeks ago, I just went to, you know what, this is what I wanted to do the past couple of years. I haven't done it. And of course I went with like, oh my God, what are people going to think? I'm like actually quitting my job, even though it's part-time and I don't have benefits, and it's, it's not like it's, I mean, I'm grateful for the parts that were good, but I was like, my head went, okay, what are people going to think? All this kind of stuff. So, but I just started looking at, I wanted to do this trip to Europe. It's what I wanted to do for the past couple of years. And I had envisioned doing it a different way, like with somebody, so that you're doing it like the back roads and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, then I realized, you know what, this is my life right now. I'm single right now. This opening has come up. I don't really have anybody to go with right now. I started looking up and I booked a tour. And it's the funniest thing, because it started out one way and it ended up a different way. And I really wasn't completely happy with the first one. And I called that day and that girl was off that day, and I dialed 0 and I got talking to somebody else. I'm like, can you help me? I ended up with a different one, which is much better, and I booked it. and I feel much better about it. And so today's my last day at my job. This Saturday is my last day at my living place. And I leave on Sunday morning at 5:30 a.m. It's my flight. I was like so excited I didn't even ask what time my flight was at. I just assumed flights to Europe are usually in the evening. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll be there earlier. I'll sleep on the plane. It doesn't matter. But this is like absolutely, and it's the funniest thing. I have gotten more positive feedback from everybody, including my mother, on this. I mean, which surprised me. Like everybody has, you know, I mean, it's a big thing I'm doing for 4 weeks, but I've just gotten nothing but positive things from everybody. So that, I mean, it's a big thing. And, you know, I'm totally don't know where I'm going. You know, I have a return ticket, but I'm coming back to like no living place and no place of work. And I'm like not stressed out about it.
Yeah.
And that's not like me. Usually I'm like, I mean, Friday I was a little bit, but I'm like, I'm just so ready for something different. I just, like I said, I think this is a really pivotal thing in my life that's going to take me in a different avenue, or I just feel like it's...
Have you traveled outside the country before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from Ireland.
Oh, that's right. So you...
Yeah. And I've gone places on my own. I mean, I'm going there and then I'm joining other people. But I've gone places solely on my own. You know, I went to Hawaii for a week on my own last year. I went to Yosemite on my own.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's exactly what we're talking about. Following that despite of the fear and despite of whatever that mind is telling you. And another perfect example of fear, false evidence appearing real. Everything you thought would happen did not, with the reaction of people and then judging you and all of that. No. So yeah, that's bravo to you. And I'm sure it's going to be a life-shifting experience.
I think so.
And then while you're traveling, stay very conscientious of what are you telling yourself, because you're going there. This is opening up like a new chapter in your life. Be open to whatever is coming. And one question that might be good for you is, what would it take for me to tap into my knowing? Because once you tap into that knowing of what it is that is your bliss, things start to, again, all of a sudden you never know who you're going to meet or what opportunities. And then also stating that I'm open and willing to receive the knowings, and also every day that you wake up, you can ask, what grand and fun, what glorious adventures will I have today? Be conscious of what you step in every day, because at times what may happen is you said, you know, give the middle finger to your subconscious mind. I'm like, I'm doing this whether you like it or not. Watch out, because it may start turning on while you're on the trip. Like out of nowhere. Like if your mind starts to, you know, try to discourage you from something or not do something, like, we are not going there. Keep repeating those questions. Keep being in that space in the moment. Because you're changing and shifting your life. You're turning it upside down. So yeah, just keep following that and do what feels right for you. And even during the trip, do what feels right to you, despite of what anybody else may, you know, think, or what you think may be right. Because, oh, well, these people that now I'm friends with, they're going to this, but I feel like I want to go there, but maybe I'll go with them. Because do what feels right to you, because it's your own journey. So, and yeah, how exciting. Can't wait when you come back and tell us all about it. Or maybe you're not going to come back.
Everybody's comment is, I mean, people that don't even know me, they're like, you're not coming back. I'm like, well, I do have a return ticket. And they're like, yeah, you can
just ignore it.
Even my mother
Really?
was like, she's like, well, my mother doesn't understand. She says, look for a job while you're there. Because she knows, I know, she doesn't understand. But I think it's more because she knows what I've been through the last couple of years. She's like, look for a job when you're there. And the phone conversation went really calm. It's like I didn't argue back with her, you know, anything. And then she's like, I was like, well, I do have a return ticket. And she goes, okay, so look for a job when you're there. Come back with your return ticket to get your stuff taken care of here in 1 month. She's given me 1 month. And this is so unlike her because she's not one to interfere or give advice or anything. So it was really funny.
Oh, yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
And yeah, follow what feels right to you. Yeah, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. My name is Katrina. I'm from Florida, but I've been in California for 3 years. And I guess something that I did that was like following my bliss, whatever, is for years I kept saying, oh man, I should have done engineering or I should have done something in math. And finally, after 10 years, I was like, screw it, I'm just going to go back to school. And I'm like, I have no idea how I'm going to pay for it or what's going to happen. And I quit my job and I kept telling myself, like, okay, don't worry about it. The money will show up. And literally the money showed up, like on my doorstep all the time. Like people, I got money by accident and I thought maybe the bank would figure it out and they never did. So I used it for my tuition and I was like, awesome. I'm like,
bring me more.
I was like, literally the money is showing up at my door. Like every time I was like close to not being able to like pay for everything. And I was like, crap, I don't know what I'm going to do. And it just kept showing up and I was like, all right, this is awesome. And so I finished school and well, while I was in school, actually, it was the first time ever in my life I felt like it was the right decision. Like I just felt like I was making the right decision. And so now I ended up out here and I kind of feel the same way now with my job, that it's just not the right company. It's not the right fit. So I have been looking for jobs, and actually what I did is I just went on Google and like searched any forensic engineering job because that's what I want to go back into. And I've had a couple people call me. I've had a couple people say that I'm not qualified, but I'm not giving up. Like I know eventually the right position and the right job will come along. So I just keep moving forward. And keep saying like the job will come to me.
Yeah.
The one that will fit for me. So that's what I keep doing.
Awesome. Yeah, and actually Katrina and I, we went to school together in Florida.
No way.
Oh,
Yeah, we were roommates in college.
Oh my gosh.
Many years ago.
Oh my goodness.
And I remember you were studying communications. And then years later, she all of a sudden tells me that she's going to tutor college math students for fun. And I'm like, what? That doesn't sound like fun. She's like, I love math. I'm a math wizard. And yeah, that was going against what came to you with ease, and you challenged yourself, but now and it's not always easy because what you're doing isn't by any means not easy, going back to school. And I know you've been taking these tests and it's been challenging, but it's...
Oh, did I tell you I passed?
Yay! Yes. And even, if I may remind you, how you ended up here in California, it was by applying for a job that you thought that you were not qualified and you thought that there's no way that they're going to call you, but you applied regardless, not thinking anything of it, and here you are.
Yeah, and they called me a week later, and then a month later I was out here. It was like, crap, I'm moving to California. Like, that happened so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really did not think I was even qualified for the job. And I just said, oh, screw it, I'll just apply for it anyways. And then here I am.
Yeah, exactly. Having that faith that it's coming, despite of what may appear on the outside, that you're not qualified, that there is no jobs, there is only like one company you can really work for, blah, blah, blah. No, if you have like faith and you know, like, this is my it, this is what brings me that joy, that happiness, then call it in. Be like, what would it take for the perfect job to find me with ease? Or what would it take for me to get connected? Or what would it take for me to meet the person that's going to hire me with ease? Whatever possibilities, again, are limitless. The more that we focus on what we want, not on what we fear or what may be, then that's what we're going to get. And yeah, it's not always pretty and it's not always rainbows and butterflies flying around our heads. But if we stay focused on what we want and we just move, like allow for the journey to happen, and us not having emotional attachment to the outcome that we're receiving right now, then we're going to get what it is that we're asking for. Because many times what we may view as a failure or as an obstacle, it's really just the piece of the puzzle which we don't recognize as that. And if we have a lot of resistance against it and not allow ourselves to experience it, we get stuck in it a lot of times. But if we just allow it to just keep moving through, like for example, the job that you said, like, oh, they said you're not qualified. Okay, that's fine. What else is possible? What would it take for me to get connected with the job that on paper they may think I'm not qualified, but in reality I am? And what would it take for me to find the job that pays, and then you put in how much or more that I can be of great contribution with effortless ease to find me right now.
Yeah, I was going to say real quick,
Mm-hmm.
when that company did say I wasn't qualified, I did start to have those thoughts at first, because I thought, God, what if I'm not qualified to move into the field, into that job that I want? And then I was like, no, I'm just going to keep applying anyway.
Yeah, exactly, because that's how you get it. And a lot of times we feed into what statement is thrown at us, and we put so much energy into it and so much validity that we talk ourselves out of it. And you see that happening to people all the time. But if you keep going and you keep telling yourself that yes, the right job is going to come, and the reason why they tell you no, you're not qualified and you don't get the job, guess what, it's not the right job for you. So we have to almost celebrate it, and again congratulate ourselves for going out there and going after it, despite of what our mind might have been telling us and despite of what the feedback was. Just be grateful, because guess what, if you did get the job and it's not the congruent company for you, maybe it's the right company, but maybe the boss that was going to hire you is somebody that you would butt heads with, or maybe you wouldn't get along with or whatnot. That's why you didn't get it. But if we're too stuck onto it, then we may pass up the opportunity that is right for us and not even see it. So yeah, keep telling yourself whatever it is that you want to receive, instead of scaring yourself with, false stories or stories of fear.
What did you say fear stood for?
I'm sorry? Fear, false evidence appearing real. So let's see. Okay, so we're going to wrap things up with the Google Hangout, and to get more information on the work that I do, I will post in the comment section of how you can reach out to me. So thanks everybody for tuning in.